to Sip with Joy. It's the season finale. Woo! I made it through another season, guys, and I'm proud of myself because I be wanting to throw the towel in sometimes. But you all keep me going week after week. So, welcome back again to Sip with Joy, a podcast about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl, Joy M. Hutton, serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And today's wine, guys, I'm bringing back the Prosecco because we got the master champagne in the house. So I had to bring a Prosecco out. So this is actually Issa Rae's Prosecco via Ray. So you know where to find out more about this on Sip with Joy, the Instagram page at Sip with Joy. I'll talk about it on the Sip of the Day. So I want to go ahead and get right to it with our guest. We have, well, today's episode is called Life Happens, Champagne Helps. so, because God knows champagne definitely helps. And, listen, between just a drink helps. I don't know about y'all, but a drink helps. So, but yes, I have a special guest for you guys today. I have Cornelius.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, and thank you for being here. I'm so excited. I was like, this is the perfect way to end the season. Popping champagne. um, first, I gotta ask you, what are you sipping on?
Oh, I am sipping on wine. I'm sipping. Let me put the glass down and grab the bottle. So I'm sipping on some Batois. You probably can't see the label because of my light, but it's Batois Morissette. It is 100% Chardonnay Grand Cru from Marcel Roger. So we're drinking on some nice, zesty, very zippy Chardonnay from Champagne.
Okay, I like it. Listen, y'all better take some notes today, okay? Um, so hey mommy, hey Rhonda. Okay. Oh, she's telling me it's hard for me to. She's having a hard time hearing me. Not you, it's me. Okay, I just got to get close to the mic. Every time I'm with a guest, I always want to lean back and get comfortable, but I gotta be all up on the mic. But
The more comfortable, the more easy the conversation is. So I understand.
yes, yes. Okay, so I mentioned I'm drinking Issa's Prosecco. So have you had it yet? Have you had it yet?
I have not. It's definitely on my list. Definitely on my list of things to try. I'm always interested in celebrity wines, so it's definitely on my list. But I do have a bottle of the Death Row Sparkling that I will be trying soon. So I'm excited to try that.
Okay, that's interesting. Excited to hear about how that tastes as well. So, this is actually pretty good. It's very light,
Mm,
and it's considered extra dry, which is
okay.
not brute. So it's not as dry as the brute. And people may think extra dry is actually drier than brute, but it's not.
Yeah, the terminology is weird when it
It's
comes to bubbles when they
opposite.
say yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. So it's actually sweeter than a brute.
Nice, nice. Does it have a lot of green apples? You get a lot of green apples in that?
I do.
Okay,
It's green
okay.
apple, it's pear.
Mhm.
Man, went down the wrong way. Green apple, pear, a little bit of peach, apple. Okay, so you didn't start off in Champagne, so give us a little background on your education and how this even happened.
Well, I like to say that my wine journey is probably the greatest accident that ever happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was in construction management. I was a project director for a small cabinetry company based out of Stafford, Texas, and they wound up getting bought out by a larger firm. And you know how that goes. You ever been in business? You know how mergers go. There's a department that has to go, and my department was the one that went.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fine with that. I put in a good 7 years. Did really, really good with them. At the time, I was a newlywed. I did like most people do. You sit back and you gather yourself, get unemployment.
Right.
The money got to come. The unemployment not gonna last
Gotta pay
forever.
them bills.
Got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So got to the point to where unemployment was coming to an end. So I had to find something. And at the time, I was working on a personal project. I was trying to open up a cigar lounge in Midtown, and I decided that well, I still got to work. Like you said, I got to pay the bills.
Right.
So I was like, I'll apply to work overnight. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, let me tell you, childcare is expensive.
It's a mortgage.
Okay? Yeah, it's basically a mortgage. Excuse me. So I was like, well, I can find an overnight job, and then I could watch my son, who is my oldest boy now, Trey. I could watch him in the daytime, and that would save us, daycare.
Yeah.
So I applied to Kroger's, and they actually reached back out to me, which was a blessing. Kroger's out Sweetwater and Sugarland. So I went to the interview. And what you guys see now, how I'm dressed, if you see me in the streets,
Suited and booted.
yeah, I'm always suited and booted. Always. That is me all day, every day. If you catch me dressing down, I probably was at home doing some work or just lounging around.
All right.
So, but I went to the interview, and she was like, you are way too qualified for this job. And so I asked her, I was like, listen, I told her my situation. I said, hey, I got to do something. Like, whatever it is, I'll be a bagger, I'll be a cashier.
Right.
I just need something. I just want to try and provide for my family. And she was like, well, we do have this wine steward position that's open. And at the time, I didn't know anything about wine. This was in 2013.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know anything. She's like, it'll be fine. I was like, well, who I have to work with? She's like, you're a one-man show. I was like, okay, well, do I have to wear the Kroger blue shirt? If you know Kroger's, you got to wear the blue shirt at Kroger. She was like, no, you can dress just like you dressing. I was like, for real? She was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
Put on my suit.
Yeah, you can wear your suit, it's all good. And it's just me. I don't have any employees under me. I am a one-man army. I was like, even better.
Right.
But she was like, well, you have to go through this real rigorous wine training. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, well, I got this apartment. It was only 2 rows. Okay, it was 2 rows of wine, 2 aisles, basically. I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, well, I just need to learn the wines that's on my shelves, and I'll be good. And that conversation changed my life.
Yeah.
And Miss Sylvia is still a good friend to this day, and we still keep in communication. I tell her, if I reach out to her, I've told her thank you so much. She tells me back like, stop. She's like, stop.
That's amazing.
But that's actually how I got started in the wine industry, and meeting my mentor, Mr. Jaime De Leon, who was the wine steward at the Kroger's off Shepherd and 10. If you go there to this day, the way it's set up now with the they have an actual bar there.
Yeah.
And if you go to most Kroger's, they have 4-level shelves on the aisles. But at his store, they have 5. And the top shelving at the Kroger's on Shepherd and 10 is out of items that he personally picked out while he was there.
Wow.
So that's how much he was influential into wine, and he was one still to this day who has been a part of my life and has changed my life also.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Talk about a divine intervention and just putting you on a path, like your divine path. That's crazy.
Yes.
Like you said, it happened by accident, but was it really by accident?
No, it was God. It was truly God's divine purpose.
So crazy.
Truly God's divine purpose.
And then for them to take the risk on you too, even though, like you said, you were applying to Kroger, but working in the wine department, like for you to be under the stewardship of, someone who knew wine very well. So that's awesome. Terrence Senegal said you knew a bit about the spirits, maybe not wine.
Oh, that's my line, brother. So yeah. So in regards to that, I am an alpha. Hence the colors. I found this day is Monday. So as we've been saying, if your feed on Instagram gets filled by the alphas, it's because I found this day on Monday.
I just happen to be wearing black and gold too.
There you go.
See,
you do. But I used to make. Every fraternity and sorority has like their drink.
Yeah.
And I was the alpha punch maker in my chapter when I was on campus. So That's where he gets that from. So I guess I dabbled in it before I even knew I was gonna be dabbling into it.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So you are a master of champagne, which
Yes,
is
man.
an absolute amazing feat. So shout out to you for
Thank
going through that rigorous training because y'all, it's not easy, especially when you're going through the court of masters. Like, it's not easy. It's not
you. It's
easy.
not.
And not only that, you are the first Black Texas master of champagne, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Look, I want to see some claps in the chat for this brother. So how many are there total?
Master of Champagnes are African Americans.
Well, both.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not certain about either or. I
Okay.
do know about if I can speak on my journey, how I
Mm-hmm.
became a master of champagne. I have to give all honors and praise to Miss Julia Coney,
Yes, she's
who was the
amazing.
one who set me on this path
Mm-hmm.
for sure. She started the Black Wine Professionals and started a scholarship with Laurent Perrier and offered 10 scholarships to African Americans to start on this journey of becoming a master of champagne. And I was one who was blessed to do so. And she has, and has been a mentor of mine since being on my champagne journey. And
Mm.
so
Good mentor to have.
I started on it. It started in 2020. I got accepted. It was 10 of us. And
Mm-hmm.
I think out of the 10 of us, I think 7 of us have passed the test.
Okay.
And 7 of us have passed the test, and the other 3, I think they just haven't taken the test, and not they failed. I think they haven't taken the test.
Right.
But there are a few African Americans who do hold that prestige title of Master of Champagne as well. But I will get those exact numbers. I will get
Yeah.
those.
Okay. No, that's cool. So about the process. So how long from the studying to the actual certification? How long did it take you?
Oh, so got accepted in 2020. And you have like when you do it, it's based at your own pace. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Wine Scholar Guild, so it's at your own pace. But the moment that you sign up, you have a year to take it. So
Okay.
I took my test in the summer of 2021, and I found out my results in September of 2021. So it's about a year, but
Okay.
it's very very rigorous. You got to have, and like I try and tell people, it's you have to have a lot of discipline because
Yeah.
it's at your own pace. Nobody's gonna. It's no sit down weekly. Meet with a group and study. Even though I kept in contact with my colleagues and we discuss and put through things off each other every now and
Mm-hmm.
then, but it's all on you.
Right.
Um, you know, Champagne was my passion. That's always been like my personal drive.
So why
And
champagne?
why champagne?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, cause champagne is just as complex as me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a beautiful thing, but it's complex. It's a
Yeah.
complex, beautiful, beautiful thing, and that's always. I'm a big history person.
Yeah.
Taught history for 6 years, middle school and high school, and I always loved the story behind champagne. And
Mm-hmm.
so it always attracted me. And once I passed becoming a certified sommelier through the Court of Masters, my mentor asked me, and he told me, he was like, "Hey, we'll take a break,
Mm-hmm.
but to stay active in your studies, find one region. You have the blueprint on how to study, but you know how to dive deeper. So find one region that you want to learn about, and that region was Champagne. I just never left.
Yeah.
I've been there for 10 years now.
Okay. Well, not a bad place to be.
It's not a bad place to be. Not a bad place to be at all.
Yes.
I do not and will not complain at all.
Hey, me either. So, what are some challenges that you've had entering this industry? Because, like anything else, nothing comes easy, right?
I would say first and foremost is um being the first in anything is hard.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably one of the greatest challenges because there is nobody you can talk to. Um, so you basically learn a lot of things on the fly. Even with dealing with having mentors and things, and being in certain platforms and dealing
Right.
with certain progress. there's some things that even mentors can't answer. You have to try and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
So having a great spiritual walk, having a great close family foundation around you.
Mm-hmm.
Even in times, which I've talked to a lot of brothers and sisters on this industry, and when they tell their family to get into wine, just like mine, they think like you're crazy. Uh, I'm trying to get them to understand. My mom and dad are like, you just want to drink. Well,
Right.
I'm not. I wasn't a drinker before. That never was my thing. But trying to get people around you to understand, you gotta have a really close wine family. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
just your family, but really close wine family. And
Mm-hmm.
and I had that. I was blessed to have a really close wine family that held me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't look like me.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one that was in my group that was like me.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to deal with also is that being African American, and I know we have a lane now that's killing it in the wine industry. But when I first
Absolutely.
got started, that lane wasn't even created.
Right.
And so you got to be comfortable in uncomfortable spaces.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, I don't know, I only can speak for myself. And it's crazy how God works. And I say this like I say and mean this is that when I was growing up, I played baseball. I was
Mm-hmm.
great in baseball. I played baseball I went all the way to college and played baseball at Southern University.
Mm-hmm.
All the way into college was the first time I played with like a true fully black team.
Right.
Growing up in my life, growing up even where I grew up at, I played with a lot of white kids. I was on used to being the only black on the team. And what's crazy why I say that is because once I got in the wine industry and got into those settings, I was already comfortable. I didn't understand at the time. I used to ask my dad, like, why is there nobody here that looks like me?
Yeah.
And he was like, you don't understand it now, but you'll understand it later. And seeing where I am now, those conversations made sense.
Hmm. I love that because yeah, it prepares you to be in the real world, you know. So I know we were talking before we got on the show and I was like, "Oh, wait, we need to come back to this."
Yeah,
So, how do you or how have you broken out of the so-called black box, you know, and people's perception of you? Because I know, you know, you said when you first kind of got into the industry, you felt like you had to put on one persona and then, you know, then you just like, you know what, F it, I'm just going to be who I am. But can you talk a little bit about that?
absolutely. When I first got into the industry, to the wine industry, I did feel that. I felt that I couldn't be authentically 100% Cornelius. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I had to um, put on a voice or act a certain way or talk a certain way or move a certain way or in order to appease my colleagues and my friends or whatnot. In the confines of us studying, absolutely. But the more and more that I worked the tables and did mock exams, because when you're doing a mock exam, especially doing the quartermasters, the key thing about studying and doing those things is you have to have swag. And that's going
Yeah.
to be my mentor. He
Mm-hmm.
used to tell me that
Yeah.
personality is what kills at the table. Nobody wants anybody to be robotic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember watching Psalm and watching Dylan Proctor from Dallas, who is
Mm-hmm.
basically was my first
Yeah.
unknown mentor. Just watching him, I watched the movie a million times.
Yeah.
And watching him how he dressed, how he carried himself as a black man in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed me that okay, you can be you.
Mm-hmm.
You can be
Absolutely.
you. You can have that swag. You don't have to be robotic. You don't have to change who you are. Just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a moment, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna grow my hair. I'm gonna wear braids. I'm going to authentically be 100% Cornelius, and I felt proud of that moment because
Yeah.
before it was like I knew I wasn't being honest with myself. I love what I was doing. I love what I was doing.
Yeah.
I just didn't love the person that was doing it.
And
But
then you
now I
get
can be like,
drained by not being able to be yourself.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. So now it's like I'm 100% Cornelius, like I said, I have a great support system professionally and personally, and they have allowed me to express myself in those ways that I'm very very proud of. So yeah, but it's something that you have to know and understand. One, professionally, where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
who you work for. Everybody's different.
Right.
Um, but you have to, at the end of the day, you have to be authentically real and true to who you are.
Yeah. Whew. Yes, you do, because you will be miserable, and then it's not fun anymore.
It's not. I mean, hey, like they said, the saying goes: when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And I can honestly say, as stressful as my job. I mean, let's just say
Yeah.
jobs are. I don't really feel like it's work. I
Yeah.
feel like I am entrusted over a very very great group of people, and God has presented me to one. This is like my ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and to show the power of what He does and what He can do, and so I'm very very grateful and thankful for
Yeah.
that.
Good. I love that. So, do you think, kind of going back to blacks in the industry, do you think
Mhm.
that blacks place limitations on themselves in this industry?
I think that I think that yes, and in a way that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're we're taking the moment that we have,
Yeah.
and making it seem like we've been doing this for a long time and we haven't. And we need to be more inclusive and encouraging of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for us to have a more inclusive space,
Yeah.
instead of an individualistic space, because we all have resources that can benefit us
Absolutely.
collectively and in this system. And this system, this wave that we have going on right now, which I think is phenomenal. There's so many great people that I can probably say names for about 30 minutes.
Right.
People who are all doing great things. I just want us to have a more inclusive space for everybody, men, women, African Americans, that can put us in a space of being here
Right.
long term instead of short term.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to, because listen, all the attention will die down at some point. They start pulling that money and
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like this. I'm a person that really believes in things that are genuine,
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that a lot of things we haven't received in the last 3 years aren't genuine. I just believe a lot of things we receive is by force.
Right.
We
Mhm.
forced a lot of pockets, and once those pockets are, those debts have been fulfilled, what are we going to do with this space?
Right.
We have to come up with a way for us to be, you know, sustainable in this space long term.
Yeah.
We just can't just ride a wave and it just die away. This is not a fad.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
got to have a real plan.
exactly. We have to have a real plan. And at the
Mhm.
end, like I said before, that's only going to work if we come together collectively.
Absolutely. All right, y'all heard Cornelius. We got to come together.
We got to come together, man.
Come
It's
together. um, so, what are some common misconceptions about champagne? Because people want to pop bottles when it's a celebration, but there are other ways to drink champagne. So, what are some common misconceptions that you hear about champagne?
First and foremost, great question, by the way. First and foremost, champagne is a wine. Okay, there is not wine and then champagne. They're
Right.
both the same.
Yes.
The only difference between champagne and Pinot Noir or Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay is that it just goes through the process that those wines go through just twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. So put them in the same category.
Yes.
That's first and foremost. It is a wine. Secondly, drink it more than just for a celebration. Well, I enjoy, I enjoy that people love to drink champagne, baby christening or, marriage, divorce party, or promotion, or any celebration in life. But you can drink champagne every day, and
Yes,
it pairs. It's really the best wine. It pairs well with
it
everything.
does. It pairs with
Um,
so much.
the only one I said, the only type of food I said it kind of clashes with a little bit, depending on what type of champagne you have, is probably spicy food, and
Yeah,
that's just because of the acid,
right.
the natural acid that comes from it. But it pairs well with everything. Also, is that another thing is that even though champagne is a wine, it is a lifestyle.
Yes.
Champagne is a lifestyle.
Hmm.
It's not. It's more than just a beverage. It is how you carry yourself. It's how you dress. It's the swag. It is the swagger of wine. It's about having that glass in your hand. You see that beautiful lady, or you see that handsome man. You present your toast,
That's
and you
it.
make that wink. You gotta have your champagne wink across the room. You gotta have it. Gotta have your champagne. It's a lifestyle, and that's another thing. There's no other wine. I can honestly say this. There's no other wine that's associated with a lifestyle. It's a
Yes.
lifestyle. It's not just a beverage. The beverage is a cherry on top. It's a cherry on top. It's the whole lifestyle.
Yes, I love that. And then also educate the people on champagne, like actual champagne, because not all sparkling wine is champagne.
Absolutely. So it's a basic rule of thumb that we like to use with that.
Yes,
Every champagne is a sparkling, but every sparkling is not a champagne.
yes,
For my people, Bel Air is not champagne. I love Rick Ross. I love him. I love his music. Phenomenal. I get that a million
yeah.
times. I want to buy some Bel Air champagne. It's not champagne.
It's not
It's not.
champagne.
I will say this though. The Lux, the white bottle, does come from Burgundy, so it's come more like a Cremant de Bourgogne.
Mm-hmm.
So also in regards to that is that most sparkling wine, well, all sparkling wine that comes from France outside of Champagne, you get this term called Cremant. So
Mm-hmm.
you have Cremant de Bourgogne, Cremant de Alsace, Cremant de Bordeaux, Cremant de Loire, Cremant de Jura. Those all places make sparkling wine, but they cannot legally call it champagne. Champagne is really like the CIA of wine. If you put champagne on something, they are
Yeah.
coming for you.
Oh yeah.
They are not playing. Even your clothes. If you say I got a champagne suit on, you promote it. We'll get a letter from the CIVC saying you cannot call this
No, not
champagne.
a champagne
They
suit.
are not playing. They
What?
Miller High Life.
Oh my
Everybody got an uncle that
gosh.
drink Miller High Life. It's called the champagne of beer. Miller High Life gets a lawsuit every year.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
What? Let me see. I'm trying to see. I saw somebody say something about some Hennessy. Oh, Terrence said, biggest misconception: Black folks don't drink champagne. We only drink Hennessy.
Okay, let me tell you a funny story. Funny story about that. There was a guy in New York. I can't remember what side of New York he was from. His name was Branson B. We all know Puffy. We all know Biggie. All that. Branson B actually was the person that put like champagne into hip hop.
Hmm.
He was a weed dealer in New York,
Mm-hmm.
but he always drank champagne. So like everybody, back in the day, you hear this place called the Tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
and so he used to tell crews, "Hey, go here and like buy bottles of champagne." So crews just have battles against itself. This one you start seeing in the videos, Moet, Cristal, all that. That's how hip hop and basically champagnes become very very close and connected. And I'm still
Interesting.
looking for them. I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find them. We're gonna do an interview. I don't care if it's an
You
Instagram.
have to. That would be so
Yes.
cool. Oh
Yeah,
my
he
gosh.
actually released a champagne maybe about 5 years ago
Mm-hmm.
with Guilan Lamandier,
Okay.
and he just dropped off the scene. I think he got into the cannabis industry, but Branson B, man, I'm gonna find you,
You
brother.
gotta
I'm gonna
find him.
find you,
You
and
gotta
we
find him. Now I'm like invested in this mission.
yeah, but that's a true story though. He was the one, um, when Puffy Num, Biggie's video, Big Papa or One More Chance. I'm sorry, One More Chance. When they was in the jacuzzi, he picked those champagnes out.
Okay.
He the one who told them about Cristal, around Louis
Yeah.
Roeder's Cristal and Dom Perignon. He was the one who put them onto that. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all getting your history, a little history lesson.
Mhm.
Terrence is funny. He said Henny and Champagne party may be for SU homecoming. Now, funny story about cognac and champagne. I went to a Jack Daniels event years ago, and they were serving Jack Honey. And the guy
Mm.
was like, "Have you ever mixed Jack Honey with champagne?" And I was like, "What?" Let me tell y'all, that's a good brunch combination, okay? Jack Honey and champagne, it was hitting.
I honestly believe like everybody, if you don't know the classic champagne cocktails are French 75.
Yes.
It's typically made with gin.
Mm-hmm.
But in the fall,
Yes.
instead of gin, use
Cognac.
cognac.
Yes, I always do that.
If you make a
Split
French
lit
75 with cognac,
martini.
if you out ask for a French 75 with cognac,
Yes.
it will change your life.
Oh man, I learned about that also a while ago, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want it any other way.
Yes.
I don't
I
want
will,
it
I
any
will
other
say
way.
that if you're in Houston in the summertime, you probably want to go back to gin because that
Yes.
cognac gets a little bit heavy in the summer, and with this
Yes.
heat, it hits a
Blend
little
it.
bit different.
Yeah.
But definitely in the fall, winter time, that cognac French 75
Yeah.
is that's where it's at.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, if you want to know the recipe for it, if you want to make it at home, DM me or I will give the recipe to Miss Joy and we can release it on her site
With
and
joy.
you
Yes, I
guys
will
can make
post
it
it.
yourselves. It's very
Absolutely.
simple drink. Very
It
simple
is
drink.
so good too. Yeah, you can get real lit off of that.
Very.
Let's see. Said Thomas said, I like my hen, and he likes his crown too." Hey Elsie, she said, "Well, I guess I really do like wine." She's so funny. Okay. So, shifting. Did I read that you had five little humans?
Yes, I do. I have the Loud House.
Loud House. Well, they
The
are
Loud
allowing you
House.
to. They're allowing you to do this podcast.
They are. I had to get approval. I had to get approval.
So,
I had to sit down. I had to sit down with my. I like to call them the commission.
yes.
Yeah, basically the commission.
So,
Um,
how do you
I
manage your
have.
family life?
I I personally have. I have two sons. I have a 10-year-old. Trey, who is my oldest. He's named after me. He's the third.
Mm-hmm.
I have Carter, who is 5. That's my athlete. And then my fiance, my beautiful fiance, and she's the one keeping them in check. So they ain't just doing it on their own.
Right, they being held
Yeah,
hostage.
they being held hostage. Okay. Um, my oldest daughter, she is 18, and then my youngest daughter, she is 6, and then we have one together, Christian. He's 11. He's really the wild one. That's the one we
Yes.
have to watch out for the most. He's
Oh
like
wow.
Jack off The Incredibles. He bounce off the wall, turn
Woo.
flips, turn colors. He's a monster in himself.
Oh my gosh.
But the funniest thing I would say about my kids is this is that
Mm-hmm.
one, they are, it's not the funniest thing, but uh, they are my reason why.
Yeah.
And I will say for anybody that gets into not just wine or anything, um, what holds and sustain you is your reason why,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not for anybody to understand.
Absolutely.
Um, it's not something you have to share with everybody, and it's not something you want to share with everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very forefront and open. I don't show my kids on Instagram. Those who know, and if you don't know, there's a reason why you don't know.
Hello.
Okay? My kids are for me. They're not for the world to know and to talk about or this, that, and the third. I'm very, very private with my children, but they are my reason. And I will say that the funniest thing is, even though I am a sommelier, but watching them decipher wine is classic. I
Oh my
have to.
God. Wait.
Oh my God! Listen,
How do you do that?
I mean, it's very simple. We have plastic, wine glasses and
Yeah.
flutes, and we'll give them like the Welch's
Yeah, juice. Yeah.
sparkling, or some fruit punch, and I'd be like, okay,
Oh.
let me know the smell.
Uh-huh.
What do you smell? What do you taste?
I
Well,
love it.
Dad, I smell Play-Doh and sunflowers, and it smells like my room on a hot winter day. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
your
God, that
room
is so
stinks.
funny.
Yeah, so
Oh my
they
gosh,
are.
little songs in the making.
But the greatest thing is that with them is that when I come home, or to see them, and them to tell me that they are proud of me, and that uh, they appreciate all that I do,
Mm-hmm.
and they are to know that all the work that I do, the hard work that I do, because I work a lot, that it doesn't go in vain, and they see what hard work does, what progress does when you really put your mind to it. And that's the biggest thing I want them to know is that no matter what obstacles that comes in front of you, if you believe in something, go for it.
Yeah,
Even if
absolutely.
I don't believe, I'm not going to always believe in everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Lord says it and you believe it, you want to stand with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to back you 100%, and
Yeah,
my kids do,
I
and
love
they
it.
they give me they give me the utmost joy. That is those are my friends. That's my gang. I love them
Yeah.
to death.
Okay. So, I guess a good segue into that is how do you practice staying so positive? Because you are a really positive person.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
like, this guy is so
I mean,
positive. Now I know you might have some moments, but
I
hey,
do. I do. Oh,
I see
absolutely.
positive.
Uh, uh,
You have a
I
great
guess.
energy.
I mean, therapy,
Yeah. Amen to that.
therapy, therapy. I would say to the audience, um, find somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, find them. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Therapy helps. One, a good consistent prayer life. I pray a lot, a whole lot.
Mm.
There's never enough prayer. Also, having, if you are, dating somebody, um, having a partner that understands,
Yeah.
that makes things a lot easier. I've been
Mm-hmm.
in a situation where I didn't have somebody to understand, who didn't understand, and then having that now, that makes a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Um, to a lot of people, are not going to value wine. It's not like you're talking about, hey, I'm trying to be a lawyer, or I'm trying to go into med school, or people think wine is just something that's just fun because they're looking from a consumer standpoint. But wine business is great money in it, and if you're
Yeah.
passionate about it, you can make a good money for yourself and create something that's long term for your family in
Yeah.
a lot of variety of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But having a partner that understands, and you have to grind. That gets going back to what you asked me before about us African Americans. One thing I will say is that if you don't have no hustle, don't get in this.
Yeah.
It,
That's real.
I'm just gonna be honest. If you don't have no hustle, don't get in this.
Yeah. Don't even play yourself.
Don't even play yourself. Like you gotta have some hustle,
Yeah.
because nobody's there's not gonna be no phone calls, no DMs every day. You
Mm-hmm.
have to create what it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? That comes with a hustle.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you're wasting your time.
Absolutely. Woo! Listen, I hope y'all taking notes. Okay. All right. One quick question,
This
because you are the chief bubbly officer of Simply Champagne. Tell the audience what Simply Champagne is.
Silly Champagne is before I said, I want to give a shout out. I know my brother's online. I want to give a shout out to my big brother, Mr. Daryl Frierson. He is my producer for Simply Champagne. He's my one of my closest homegirls' husbands. I've known him for years, and he is. Listen, when I talk about when God puts people in your circle
Mm.
who you're like, hey, bro, you need to do this. You need to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. I'm gonna do it. No, like you really need to do this. He was the motivation behind Simply Champagne. So I can't put this all on myself. I really have to give, before I give myself, I have to give him that. Because he's been talking to me about doing this for years.
Yeah.
And but Simply Champagne is simply a podcast to talk about um, the champagne scene in the United States, from a champagne bar perspective, hospitality perspective, influencer perspective, festival, any capacity we can talk about champagne in the United States market. The first season featured wine champagne bars around the United States, because I think a lot of people don't understand is that there are wine bars, which I love and everybody loves, but there are bars around the country that just specialize and focus on champagne. And so we spent the first season interviewing some of good friends of mine, new and old, and we talked about what they provide as far as like champagne and sparkling. And I had some really really dope conversations. But Simply Champagne is evolving. We are evolving to bigger and bigger things outside of the podcast.
Yes. And we do have a big announcement. Do you want to wait until the end, or you wanna share it now? Y'all? Okay. Well, we're going to wait for him to come back because I really want him to share his announcement with you guys. Why is technology playing with me today? We are at the season finale. Why? Why? Um, okay.
Hey,
Yay! Okay, you're
there we
back.
go.
Okay, hold on now, because now it's echoing, but give me a second to bring you back in. Okay, we
No
got you
problem.
now. So, okay, I think we're good.
Yes.
Boy, the devil is a
Oh,
lie.
we're not gonna let him win. That's how I
Ooh,
know.
there we
We're
are.
not gonna let him do that. We will not.
See, we not doing this again.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No, man.
so you were saying before the devil was trying to interrupt your announcement.
Listen. The devil. Listen. Never let the devil put a period where God put a comma.
Ooh, you better say that.
So with that being said, I want to announce on this beautiful evening, Simply Champagne is now getting into the importing industry. We will be importing champagnes into the United States market starting in January of 2024,
Okay.
coming to a city near you. Especially starting in the Texas market, Houston, we have some really phenomenal champagnes coming into the market. Dallas, Austin, we'll be seeing you guys this summer. St. Louis, Louisiana, Michigan, Illinois, we'll see you
Ah,
guys next fall. But we Simply Champagne will not just be a podcast anymore, but we are definitely diving and delving to the wine import business. So
I love it.
here's you guys.
Yes. I love it. Congratulations to you. That is
Thank you.
so exciting.
Thank
And
you.
I do have a question. Terrence been cutting up all night, but he said if you had to create your own champagne, what would be your ingredients as much as you can share?
Oh, definitely. I am a I am a Muer lover. I think that
Mm.
Muer fits the American palate. For those who don't know what Meunier is what some considered before a clone of Pinot Noir. It's a red grape. It's known as Miller's Pinot.
Mhm.
If you see the leaves of it, it has a very powdery substance on the leaves, kind of like a like little white residue. But it's much more fruit forward. Has very pronounced red fruit to it.
Mhm.
It also is youthful. It's not meant to be aged, which I think fits the American palate because we are eager to drink. We don't like to save anything.
Yeah.
We buy it, we want to drink it. We don't want to store it for a couple days, weeks, months, years. And Meunier fits that perfectly. It's everything that Pinot is, just with a little bit more punch and also a lot more bouquet.
Mhm.
So I would do something that is Blanc de Mouillet, Valle du Le Marne, something more left bank. It's going to be a little bit more fuller body, um, Muer, and I think that something that I would age probably between 3 to 5 years, preferably 5 years, so we can get some of that mature note tones to it.
Yeah.
Still youthful, but it's gonna have some mature um, Muer tones to it. So yes, that's the type of champagne.
Okay. I love it. All right. I'm here for it. Okay. So now it is time for our rapid fire. And before we do our rapid fire, so with
Hmm.
you getting into imports, so do people go to the website simplychampagne.com? Is this just for wholesale or like how will this work?
It would be just for wholesale.
Okay.
Texas TABC is a crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy market.
Mhm.
So I won't be able to sell individualistically on the
Okay.
website. The website will launch in January of 2024. But everything that you need and will find will be on the website as far as where you
Mhm.
can try and find these our wines at. We will be doing events in the Texas market a lot in 2024. So come out, support, and try.
Okay. All
I
right.
definitely will be going home to St. Louis, doing events, trying these champagnes, also in New Orleans for
Mhm.
sure. Like I said, New Orleans, Louisiana, Texas, Missouri, Illinois, Michigan. Those are my key markets for sure because those are markets that mean a lot to me personally.
Yeah.
Then we will venture off into other markets, Georgia, Florida, so on and so forth. But those are my major markets. So just stay tuned. Go follow the page, Simply
Yes.
Champagne.
Simply
You can follow me
Champagne.
personally at Champagne_Master. That will
Yes,
keep
I
you in
put that in
tune.
the chat already. So at Simply Champagne.
Hmm.
All right. So drop that in
Absolutely.
here as well. Okay, great. All right. So time for our rapid fire, and then I'll have some other questions, final thoughts for you. Okay. So choose one or the other, okay? Whichever one comes to mind first. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
So beach vacay or house on the lake?
Oh, beach vacay.
Okay. City or suburbs?
Oh, city boy. I'm a city boy all day.
Okay, all right. Hip hop or R&B?
Ooh. I know what? I'm gonna say R&B, man.
Okay, all right, okay.
R&B. Richer history. Hip hop is still new, but R&B is timeless.
Yeah, it's nothing like R&B, especially like in the 90s, you know?
Ain't nothing better than that '90s R&B.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Baseball or basketball?
I play
I
baseball. No
know.
question. No question.
Right. Call or text?
Ooh. I would say I prefer a call. Test
Okay.
get misconstrued.
Okay, okay, yeah, they do. Cava or Prosecco?
Yeah. I would like to say the Cevada Cava.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute now. Yeah, I love me a good cava. Okay, red wine or white wine?
Ooh. I would,
Mm.
that's tough,
I
man.
know.
You know what? You know what? There's a place for both. I
Yes.
prefer to drink white wine by itself. I
Mm-hmm.
prefer to drink red wine when I'm eating a meal.
Okay, okay. All right, we'll let you slide on that. Brute or extra dry?
Oh, brute.
And I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of editing to this. I usually don't have to do editing, but we gonna have to do it for this episode. Chop it up a little bit. Um, but yes, this is the season finale for you guys watching. So I will be back January 8th. I'm gonna take my break this December, and then yeah, come back to your screen on January 8th. So we're gonna try to bring Cornelius back again. Um, I'm waiting for him to come back on the screen. Uh, Tara said, "Get off that dial up." Okay.
Hey.
Well, we've dropped all. Somebody said you must have an Android. Well, we've dropped all the links in the chat, and then follow Cornelius on Champagne_Master and at Simply Champagne. Listen to his podcast. Be the first to know when he drops the import business and the website. And we're going to, I'll see you guys next year. And then I'll be sure to drop a snippet and drop how this Prosecco tastes from Issa Rae on Instagram at Sip with Joy. So also follow me there. Thanks for joining, Cornelius. I'll see you later.